So I'm Amanda Wortman. I'm running for Cabarrus County School Board, and I'm running because to me, schools are very important. They impact our present, our future. I have five kids, 21 to almost 16, and they have all been through Cabarrus County Schools. So we have experienced program choice, IEPs, a teenage pregnancy. So we have kind of got to see the good and the bad of our school system. And I've been an advocate in our school system for several years. So I'm very passionate about it.
Thank you. What's one thing you'd like to accomplish in your first 6 months in office?
In the first 6 months, the biggest thing for me is to see what we can do to change some of the policies so that there are more pathways for students. I'm a big proponent of trades, so I come from a trade family, and I believe that not every student can just be measured by test taking or excels in a traditional classroom. One of my sons went to one of our program choice schools and was able to go to work on Fridays versus sitting in the classroom. And it was able to help him improve his English and math scores and graduate early. So I think if we can set parameters to help students learn in different ways to help them be able to graduate, that would being a huge win for me.
Beyond standardized test scores, what measures do you think best reflect school performance and student preparedness for future success?
Well, I don't think test scores give the whole picture of a student. I think their growth matters, attendance, how engaged they are. Somebody cannot be very well when they just sit down and take a test. And a lot of students, especially now that so many things are on a computer, will just, click, click, click to be done. So I think we need to see where the student began and where they're headed. And as long as they are tracking and their interest and they're growing and learning, then I think that's a positive.
Strong partnerships with local governments, businesses, and community organizations can enhance educational outcomes. How would you support collaboration to strengthen opportunities for students and families?
First, I think it starts with listening. I believe schools are strong when the whole community is involved because our students here, when they graduate, we want them to be able to work here and be a part of our workforce. So we want to make sure that they're successful. So I definitely support any collaboration that comes from the community. Family support is huge. You know, if parents don't feel that they can be involved, then it makes it harder to know what's going on in the classroom and harder for our educators to be able to communicate with them. But I think some students, but they may not have that family support system. And unfortunately, it does fall on the teachers. So we also need to have educators that can see, hey, the student's struggling and may not have a parent at home, but still give them the encouragement that they need. So,
And what strategies should be prioritized to build a stable, effective educator workforce in Cabarrus County?
first, I think we need to workforce like for the teachers or workforce like out in the public. Or
Um,
I can do both.
Educate for the teachers.
Okay. Yeah. So I think a lot of that goes into first, we need to be in the schools. We need to be speaking with our teachers and our admin to see, what's important to them and what works. And then kind of go from there. It's like, let's build a model from those that actually are in the classroom. They know best what they need. And then that way we can work with our state legislators like, hey, we need to be able to fund our teachers and to pay them. They're responsible for the future of all of our communities and educating them. So I think it definitely starts with a lot of listening and seeing what the needs are, and then coming up with policies that benefit them.
How would you approach long-term facility planning to ensure schools keep pace with enrollment and workforce demands?
So that would be very data driven. We know that Cabarrus County is growing and it's growing quickly. So we would need to keep up with the enrollment trends, work with our state legislator and county commissioners on what our needs are, and make sure that we're building facilities that grow with enrollment, would be the biggest thing. And make sure that we have schools that have the needs of the areas that they are. I mean, I know we have program choice, but not everybody can go to those. So let's try to make sure we have enough pathways at each one of our schools for students.
Thank you. What strategies should be prioritized to build a stable, effective educator workforce in Cabarrus County?
First, I would say it would be going into the classrooms. We need to be able to meet with our admin and our teachers to see what their needs are before policies are put in place. They're the ones that are in the classroom every day. They're the ones that know what their needs are. And so after we speak to them and see what they need, then go and work with our state and other elected officials, for funding, for insurance, for teacher supplements, for even resources that they need. So first it would be listening.
And how should the school system balance academic achievement, student growth, and career and technical education to meet the needs of students and employers?
So a lot of that would take a lot of collaboration. Let's see what the students are interested in. Let's get employers here that want to pour back into our schools and give their time and resources and kind of link them together instead of them being separated. Why not? Can we bring them and help them to learn? And for instance, as an example, my son is getting ready to start welding school in Mooresville. Well, you can start welding school there at 16. So why do we not go to these places and these different trade programs and come into our schools? Let's open our doors and help educate these students that want to learn instead of being separated because our students are going to be our future community.
Thank you very much. You still have a couple of minutes. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Another thing that is super important to me is our safety and mental health. Coming from a parent that is experiencing and has just experienced kids in high school, there is so much going on in our schools that we did not have to deal with. And I feel like if we had more kind of like psychologists or mental health people in the school, to at least students can have somebody other than a friend or parent to go to, that a lot of issues may could be solved on the front end. There needs to be a lot more proactive measures set in place because a lot of it is over safety issues, is over vapes and weed pens, and that is a mental illness. It's addictive and the 30. So I believe we need more support staff in that area. And I believe we need more SROs in our high schools. So those are two things that I'm very passionate about as well.